In order to see inside the viewer, you must be in the patient's file. There are 3 different ways to go inside the viewer. I'll demonstrate all 3 for you, and then I'll explain what the differences are between them. The first way that we can go in is by entering in the Pixelr ID number if we know what the ID number is, and then clicking OK. So this brings me into my patient's file. You'll see that I'm inside the viewer by the black arrow that's pointing underneath the viewer. You'll also see that I only have 6 tabs that are currently open. And the reason why there's only 6 tabs open is because I need to select the wound profile from the drop-down menu. Oftentimes a patient will have multiple wound profiles, so Pixelr just wants you to select which wound profile you want to look at. As soon as I select my wound, the rest of the tabs will open up for me. I'm going to press the Home button to take me out of the patient's file. The second way that we can go in and look for our patient is by either clicking Search or Admin. When I click the Search or the Admin button, it takes us to the same place. Here I'm able to search for my patient by a variety of different identifiers. I'm going to type in my patient's last name and click Search. And when I do that, you'll see that my patient's Pixelr ID number and name appears here, as well as Log Audit, Viewer, or Admin FN. If I was to click Viewer, this will take me back again into the viewer, but remember, I need to select my wound profile from the drop-down menu in order to see all of the tabs. I'm going to press my Home button to take me out of my patient's file one last time. So I'm back sitting on my home page. Now, if I was to click the pop-up button, this will give me the pop-up that I see when I first log into the software. If there's a recommendation waiting for a particular patient, I will see my patient's name here, as well as the wound profile. So all I need to do is click Go to Viewer, and this will take me right into my patient's file, as well as already have the wound profile open for me. So I don't need to make my selection from the drop-down menu. You'll see that there's 13 tabs that we can review while we're inside the viewer. We have the patient flowchart, we have exam flowchart, we have the Braden flowchart, investigations, we have a limb and mobility flowchart. We're able to take a look at our patient's wound photos. Now you'll see that the blue man also appears every time we want to take a look at our wound photos. We have a point of reference. I'm able to compare the wound photos by making a click inside the little blue arrow, or I can also select from the drop-down menu a different assessment date to compare the wound photos as well. I'm able to take a look at my progress notes. And inside the progress notes, we also see that we have recommendations. I just want to point out to you that the progress notes are going to appear in blue, and we also have our recommendations, which appear in a different color. So very easy for the eyes to recognize the difference between a recommendation and a referral and progress note. Next, we have the wound flowchart. And then we have our assessment flowchart. You may have noticed once again that we have the pencil and paper icon. Remember that the pencil and paper icon means that this is an assessment that you have done. It also says that you're able to go in and make changes if necessary. You'll notice that the assessment in the middle does not have the pencil and paper icon. And that's because I did not do this assessment, so I'm not able to make any changes to it. If I wanted to make a change to any of this information that's here right now for any particular reason, I could go ahead and do that. So I'm going to make a change so I can show you what it looks like. So where it says wound bed, I'm going to make a change to the last assessment that I did. I'm simply going to click on the little pencil and paper icon, and you'll see that the wound bed appears just as it does when I'm doing my assessment. I'm going to simply make a little change here. I will change my slough to 50%, and I'll change my granulation tissue to 30%. And Pixelaire is just reminding me that my wound bed must equal 100%. Once I've made those changes, I can click Submit. You'll see that my patient's record was successfully updated. I can close out of the pop-up, and I'll show you what it looks like on the patient's chart now. You'll see that the correction has been made. You'll see that the old information has a red strike through, and the new information appears above. Another thing that we can do when we're under our Assessment Flowchart tab is we can pull up a printable summary report. So if we happen to need a printable summary report to add to any paper charting, we can simply pull it up from here, and a PDF is going to be created. So you're able to print the PDF document of this assessment. Scroll back up. Next, we have the Measurement Graph tab. This is going to show you on a graph the measurements and show you how the wound is doing. You'll also see that we have an assessment date as well as the length, the width, and the depth of the wound here. And then we have our product history. So these are all the different products that have been used on our patient. And then the last tab that we have is our care plan. So the care plan is able to be edited if necessary. If I needed to update the current care plan that's in effect, I simply click Populate to edit previous care plan. And the current care plan is going to appear here. I could go ahead and make some changes if necessary. Typically, the DOC or the wound care lead in the home is going to update the care plan for the nurses so that when the nurse makes it onto the treatment page, they're able to read the new care plan and address the patient as necessary. The dressing change frequency can also be updated through here. And once the care plan has been updated, simply click Update Care Plan and all the changes will be saved. To get out of the patient's file, remember all you need to do is click the Home button.